Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Chainlink and mainly look at its valuation against Bitcoin. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So in this video, we're not actually going to pull up any custom charts or anything like that. We're just going to be looking at TradingView. However, I have imported one of the typical tools that I use to analyze Chainlink, and I've actually put it in TradingView. So we're gonna take a look at that. So essentially, it's just this exponential fit, and one of the things we know for a fact is that the exponential fit will not hold forever. We would not expect Link to go up exponentially against Bitcoin forever. It has gained 2 orders of magnitude up at the top over here on Bitcoin over the last 3 years. It has come back down a little bit, but it's still been doing very well for the most part. In fact, it had a pretty significant run just a few months ago in August, and we've come back down. However, we've seen this type of movement many times before. If you take a look at what Link has done, historically speaking, we've seen these types of moves, right? We've seen moves to the upside that are several 100%, and then we've seen moves back down that can be pretty tough. And these again are against Bitcoin of negative 70%. Here was a drop that was negative 85% or so against Bitcoin. We moved up again up to this point, a 500% move up. Following this 500% move up, we came back down 45%. Again, all the way back up about 400%. And then back down against Bitcoin, 61%, and then back up 145, back down 33, 32. So you can see, we're not increasing against Bitcoin monotonically by any means, but over the macro scale, it does seem like we are gaining a decent amount of ground against Bitcoin. And most recently, we had a move that was another 400% move up against Bitcoin, followed by a modest 60% retracement. But again, this is essentially business as usual, and we have always said that whenever Bitcoin makes a powerful move to, say, the prior all-time high, if volatility on Bitcoin goes up significantly, Chainlink does not perform that well during that time. However, if history has been any indication, we do know that Bitcoin volatility will calm down at some point, and if it does it in bullish waters, where say Chainlink or where Bitcoin is above its 20-week moving average, then we would expect Chainlink to gain value back against Bitcoin. And if you look at this exponential fit, which we all obviously know will not hold forever, but we're sure as hell going to ride it out as long as we can. By the way, we had this fit a year ago, and back when it was over here, and we said the same thing, right? We said the same thing, and this preceded this bubble, right? And this bubble was significant. This was probably the most significant bubble that Link has had against Bitcoin since inception. So we come back down. Historically, we have dropped below this band a couple times. Here's one time we dropped below it, and here's another time we dropped below it. So it's not like we can't go below it, but we just simply want to consider the fact that we are getting back down to the bottom of it, like we have many times in the past. Sometimes we don't go all the way down this low. Sometimes we just go to the middle of the band, but we've actually been at the bottom of this band at least 5 times. This being our 5th time, we've come to the middle of the band I guess we can't count this one because we went to the bottom. Here's a second one, a third one, and a 4th one. So we've seen these moves time and time again. And I do anticipate that Link will break out against Bitcoin again. It just is not going to happen until Bitcoin volatility reduces, and no one really knows when that's going to be. One catalyst for Link could be Bitcoin getting above its prior all-time high. Now, if it can do it in a sustainable manner, then I think Link could significantly rally. However, I would argue that even if Bitcoin cannot get above its prior all-time high, I don't think that will preclude Link from making a move against Bitcoin. Imagine a world where, and I'm not saying this is going to happen necessarily, but imagine a world where Bitcoin drops and doesn't make it to 20K and drops back down to a few $1,000s and then goes sideways there. I think that could be a catalyst as well for Link to make a move. But as long as Bitcoin stays this volatile, that's where the market is. That's what people are going to watch. And again, I argue that holding Bitcoin and Chainlink, both of them, is a really good choice because, as I've said before, they increase your risk-adjusted returns. They increase your Sharpe ratio by holding both of them. Their volatilities tend to cancel each other out in terms of negative volatility, and also they improve your covariance matrix when calculating those risk-adjusted returns. So there's a lot of good reasons to hold both assets. Link tends to gain value on Bitcoin, but I still think it's worth, Chainlink is obviously also a lot riskier than Bitcoin. So when we look at this chart, we say, just pragmatic, if we're pragmatic about it, we can say, well, we've seen this type of move before, and we've had these moves down, sort of these V-shaped moves down and then back up, right? Some of them are more of a U-shape, you might say, but we're just going to draw, these general trends that we've seen, time and time again in the Link Bitcoin valuation. And so far, every time we've managed to get down into this region, right? Every time we've managed to get down into this region, historically speaking, we have recovered. I would say the main uncertainty at this point, and we said this a long time ago, is that we simply don't know how Link will behave in a bull market. I think we would expect it to do well against USD. It has gained value against Bitcoin for years, but it was also during a time when Bitcoin wasn't really gaining much value itself. Now that Bitcoin is leading the show, leading the life of the party in a sense, like it dictates what the market will do, it still begs the question as to how Link would behave in a bull market against Bitcoin, because we simply just don't know. And we're going to find out together, so make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to follow it every step of the way. But this is just something I wanted to show you guys so that we can be prepared in the event that we do see some type of recovery. And I don't know if it's going to happen now, or maybe it'll drop even below the band again like it did over here and like it did over here. Maybe it'll do something like that and then recover from there. I don't know. But I personally speaking, it's not financial advice, I personally think it's too risky not to hold Chainlink during this market cycle, and I will continue to hold it and wait for a breakout against Bitcoin whenever that comes. And obviously that probably won't come until Bitcoin chills out. And as long as Bitcoin, of course, is simply printing weekly candles that are essentially just going up, this is not the prime environment for Chainlink to make a move. Now, if Bitcoin were to, say, come back down and go sideways here, if it were to go sideways here for a few weeks, or if it popped above 20K and then started going sideways, I think all three of these scenarios would be good for Chainlink. However, if Bitcoin just simply continues the bubble and continues pushing higher week after week, then again, I would not expect Link to break out against Bitcoin in the short term. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Bitcoin can cool off, and if it can, then I would anticipate a move coming for Link against Bitcoin. You can see we're nearing the bottom we're in the bottom half of this exponential fit. The other thing that I thought was kind of fun to do was just to plot the exponential fit to some of the peak data, which doesn't look quite as good. The fit, and maybe I can spend a little bit more time investigating it, but I just did a quick fit. Typically, I don't like exponential fits because it implies that the valuation will go up exponentially forever. I prefer logarithmic fits because that means that the valuation is increasing more quickly earlier on, and then it slows down over time, which is what we would ultimately expect for Link. But for the time being, it would not make sense to fit this to a logarithmic regression curve, because frankly it's increasing too quickly. Like, it would not make sense to fit it like that, and so that's why we have the exponential curve, and this is what I'll use until we get data that suggests something else would be better. But I mean, you can generally see these are our peaks, and if we were to bounce back and come back up to this upper exponential fit region, something like this, if it were to do something like this, then it could correspond to a Link Bitcoin valuation of 0.003, 0.004. Note that during the last peak, we made it to about 167,000 Satoshis. So coming up here, if we were to make it, it'd be like 400,000 Satoshis or 500,000 Satoshis. Something like that could theoretically be on the cards if, in fact, Link does just simply repeat history for the umpteenth time. The other thing I wanted to take a look at was if we go to the daily chart and we plot on here, say, a daily moving average. We're going to change this to, I believe it was the 50-day moving average. You can see that Link is essentially getting pushed down by this moving average. So here, and this is against Bitcoin, not against USD. We know against USD it's actually recovered quite nicely. It's gone up 2x from the local bottom of $7 or $8. Now it's around $14, $13, somewhere in that ballpark. So we know against USD it's doing rather okay, but against Bitcoin it's been bleeding. So I would say maybe keep an eye out on this level. Right now we're at currently 81,000 Satoshis for the 50-day moving average. And then of course we also want to take a look at our Bitcoin bull market support. Let's switch it back over to the weekly time frame. We'll remove the exponential fit. This is where we want to be above in order to continue, in order to say go into one of those short-term bubbles. And we have in fact come below it several times, 30% or so, 40%. Currently we're down by approximately 30% or so. So again, this is business as usual. It's not that out of the ordinary. But again, until Bitcoin volatility calms down, I don't see this changing. We want to see Bitcoin start to go sideways before we would see some major move. If you look at Link versus Ethereum, it's also been pretty bullish for most of its history, only dropping below this the bull market support band a few times, but it can drop. I mean, this one was a 43% drop below it. We've had other drops below it. This one was around 15%, and so far we're down below at about 25%. So we're in a phase these times in Link's history, in terms of its valuation, it does not tend to be this undervalued against Ethereum, or I shouldn't say undervalued, but it tends to not be this as low of valuation in terms of compared to the bull market support band. Obviously, we can see over the macro scale it's been going up against Ethereum like crazy for the last few years. But maybe it is starting to level off a bit. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, this is seeing leveling off some. So the primary move is happening earlier on, and over time the Link Ethereum valuation is actually leveling off. I would eventually anticipate the Link Bitcoin valuation to level off and not increase exponentially forever. It's just a matter of when is that going to happen? Is now the time? If it is the time, it doesn't mean that we can't recover and get back to a higher global top. It just means maybe the ultimate trend will look somewhat different over the long haul, and that it might do something like that, and whatever it might be. Just at some point we would expect this to change. So let me know what you guys think. I thought it would be nice to just put this indicator in TradingView so that I can just pull it up when I don't want to pull up all the custom charts, and we can see, okay, where are we? If you look at historically speaking, we're getting pretty close to these bottoms that we've seen before. We still have a little ways to go because currently we're all the way up here. The Link Bitcoin valuation would probably need to drop by another 5% or so to get to the very bottom of this exponential fit. But again, I mean that wouldn't be that surprising if Link were to do that. I mean, if Bitcoin were to say drop $4,000 or $5,000 one day, if that were to happen, then there's a good chance that Link Bitcoin valuation could get ultimately into that region. Or if Bitcoin were to have a sudden rally to say 25K or something, that could also get us all the way down here. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Remember to check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. And we do have the Black Friday deal still going on. So if you want access to that, check it out before it expires. You'll get access to weekly reports, weekly videos, TradingView indicators. I don't have this one yet, but I will probably be adding it to that. You also get access to the risk dashboard, the Telegram alerts channel, and the Telegram chat room. So make sure you guys check it out. You can find the link to the Black Friday deal in the description below and lock in the lower price. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get to 70,000 subscribers. I hope you guys enjoy the content on Chainlink occasionally, and I'll see you next time. Bye.